So, welcome back, everybody. So, we have a very special guest today, and probably you know the channel Go with God. So, I decided to take the invitation, Go with God, and here we are.
Yeah,
Welcome. And
thank you for having me.
I think the first question is, what is the correct pronunciation of your name?
Yeah, good question. So that's my Thai name. It means frog. So that's why my YouTube channel is has a picture of a frog, and I'm holding the frog's hands. So it's go go
Cool.
go. So,
Okay.
yeah, it's hard. It's a Thai word. I mean, so the sound doesn't exist in like because it's a unvoiced K sound, like unvoiced. So it's go. So yeah, it's okay to mispronounce it because everyone says it wrong. So, but no problem. Yeah, yeah. So it's cool.
Oh, I see. See, you have a Thai name that means obviously that you have some very deep connection with this language, with this culture.
Yeah. Well, I've lived probably Thailand in total for 5 years, and yeah, I just love Thailand. I love speaking Thai, and ever since the first day I got here, I got I don't know why I gave myself that name. I think because a lot of Thai people have nicknames that are like related to animals or just like other things in life. Some people are even named like Apple, Strawberry. Um, so Thai nicknames are actually pretty funny, but I chose that because I like to play frisbee, and so I jump high. And Gop is is not that common, but it's not that uncommon. So yeah, I chose that name, and everyone just calls me Gop, even my American friends or foreign friends. Yeah, so
Hmm. I see. That's an interesting story, and now that makes much more sense to me. Um,
yeah.
and I think the first question that I normally get is like, how many languages do you speak? How do you normally answer to that?
So usually I if it's someone like depends on the situation, but if it's someone who doesn't really like languages and they're not interested, and I just tell them a lot, I study many languages. And then because otherwise they're gonna, ask you the same questions over and over. But if it's someone like you, who also I know loves languages, and then we can like find out what languages we have in common and discuss how much we study, then yeah, I would usually tell people I feel comfortable with like 13, maybe 13, 14 languages, and then I've studied more than 20. But if it's just a normal person, I just tell them, just speak to me in a language, and if I can respond to you, that means I speak that language. Because it's just easier like that.
Oh, definitely. And like, that's a very strange question to me personally. Like, I don't know, it's complicated because when someone asks me, it's like, how many languages do you speak? The first thing I think is like, okay, what do you consider speak?
Yeah, exactly.
Because it depends. It's like,
Yeah, so for me, it's not so important. For me, it's like, for me, I want to see what language I can use with them. So I want to find out what language they speak, and then we'll use those languages together. It's like that's important because otherwise, like you said, the definition is very vague. It's ambiguous. So yeah, it's not really. I'm not about, oh, I speak this many languages. I don't learn a language to add it to my list of languages that I speak. I learn it as a way to communicate and connect with people. So the number is not really, it doesn't really matter.
yeah, like, I totally agree on that. That recently a guy told me like that makes no sense for you if you speak Czech, so you could easily learn Slovak. So you should do that. I was like, so there would be one more language in your list. I was like, but then I don't really have a list, like I don't really want numbers there. I was like, no, yeah, I could. I have no connection with Slovak language, the culture, people. I was like, why would I do that? It's just for a number.
Yeah.
That's strange.
Yeah, same thing like with Lao, because Lao is similar. I probably same as Slovak and Czech, but I didn't learn it until I went to Lao. Laos, sorry, I should say Laos. Lao is the Thai pronunciation, but so Laos, yeah, once I went there, then I started to learn it. But before I wasn't trying just to, like you said, if you don't have connection there, you don't need to learn just because it's a similar language to
Yeah,
one you know.
that bothers me sometimes when people think like it's a it's a Pokemon game, you know, like no, I need to catch them all. Like I need one more, I need a huge list. And it's like
Yeah.
that's soulless, you know, like
Yeah, that's how you can tell the real language learners apart from the uh, the ones who are just doing it for the influence.
oh, absolutely. Actually, do you have a favorite language?
Favorite language. I mean, probably if it's spoken, then I love to speak Thai. Um, but it's more my connection to the country and the people than the actual language itself. I love to read in Chinese. Chinese is the most unique language in the world when it comes to the written language. But speaking it, yeah, I can speak it, but it's not like it doesn't sound because the Putonghua is the Mandarin, of course, and it doesn't sound as nice as other languages, but the written language is incredible. And yeah, I mean, if we're just talking about like my favorite language objectively, that doesn't even make sense objectively, but I don't know. I like probably speaking. The fact that I learned Vietnamese is for me is like the coolest language because it just sounds crazy. Like when I heard before I heard could speak Vietnamese, I was like, there's no way people are understanding what's happening, and it just sounds so foreign. Um, so for me, that's like my I guess the coolest language, but definitely not my. I don't love speaking it because I'm not as good at it, but it's probably the coolest for me.
Oh, that's another interesting distinction there. Like I think someone asked me because I always tell people like my favorite language is Polish. Polish, because I think the pronunciation is crazy there. You have a lot of
That is true.
oh.
Yeah. Sorry, go
Uh,
ahead.
yeah, I think that's my favorite language. Like, I don't know, especially because of the pronunciation of it. That's fantastic. And someone tells me like, oh, but if that's your favorite language, so you should have a higher level. It's like, no, I just enjoy that, you know? Like,
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
it's hard to explain. Like, why is that your favorite language? I don't know. Like, why do you like blue? Why do you like black, red? Like, I just love it. That's crazy.
Cool, it's cool. I think it's like the Vietnamese of the European language. The pronunciation is crazy. Yeah.
And also, that's something that caught my attention when I saw your video. That's like, because, of course, speaking a language is always a great thing. But normally people speak some, let's say, common languages, you know, like French, Spanish, Italian, maybe German, Dutch. And then I was watching your video and I started seeing it's like, okay, Vietnamese, Lao, Thai, and then like Luganda. It's like, come on, what's going on there? Like, hard as hell languages. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like we talked about before, for me, the language is a way, a vehicle to explore the world. So yeah, I went to Africa last year. Well, I went to Kenya, Uganda, of course, and I just wanted to, see. It's such a big continent, and then I wanted to just go to a couple of countries, and I still want to go more places. But if you don't speak those languages, yeah, I feel like you're not going to be able to connect as much. So yeah, that was just my reason to learn because if you're learning just the typical French, Spanish, like you said, Portuguese, I feel like your ideas or the way you're thinking is not really changing so much because of not only because the languages are similar, but like France, Spain, of course, Brazil is different. It's further apart. But if you're in Europe, France, Spain, Germany, I mean, the culture is not going to be, you're not going to have this big culture shock. You're not going to see something so new as like going to Uganda, right? So it's like, for me, it's just a way to, yeah, to see the world a different way and connect with different types of people and understand the way they think. And yeah, so if that's the reason I want to learn different languages.
oh,
Like not so common ones, like you said.
now I see your point there, and that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, we do have some cultural differences, but I imagine that when you go to this far in language learning, so you have very significant cultural difference there. Um, you know, that's kind of interesting there. But then, last question for this part. Do you
Yeah.
actually have a study routine? Because like when you have so many languages in the background, it's like how do you maintain that? When you sit down and you study?
So yeah, I mean, I usually have an active language, one active language, one less active language, and then just passive learning. Sorry, not passive learning, but like reviewing. I just do like passive and active reviewing. So I have my Enki list. I have like 20 languages in my Enki. So I'll do 3 or 4 lists one day, and that's reviewing, and that takes about an hour of time. Then I have, like, for example, I'm learning Burmese. So I have my Burmese book. So that's my newest language. So I would do like an hour of Burmese per day. So that's my active language. Then I do the hour on my phone, which is the passive. Sorry, it's the active reviewing, and then I do like a passive review where I listen to like a podcast in German or Japanese, um, and then so that's about, I'd say, 3 hours a day about exposure. And of course, I speak with people. Yesterday, I spoke Spanish, Chinese, of course, Thai, some French, because I was at a language exchange. So I try to have contact with different languages and definitely study. It's not like a fixed routine, but I'm just like, okay, I need to do 1 hour today. So 1 hour of Burmese. Um, but yeah, actually, I just started to do Esperanto because I told Evil Lee I would do Esperanto. So I didn't start the Burmese yet. So I'm still on Esperanto. Yeah.
Oh, I think it's gonna be an interesting challenge for you, but so yeah, I imagine that you have a long list in Anki, but we do have something in common there. You mentioned like language exchange, yeah. So
Yeah.
you do that like consistently.
I go I go to an event. Yeah.
Okay.
It's like I think it's, of course, Sao Paulo, they must have an event where
Yeah,
you go meet
Rio
people.
also. They have in Rio,
Yeah.
São Paulo, and that's
You're in Sao Paulo, right? You told me.
I live in Rio. I live in Rio.
Oh, sorry. The guy I met yesterday, the Brazilian guy, I told you he was from Sao
Uh,
Paulo. So yeah, Rio. Sorry, yeah.
no, yeah, but in Rio we have that. We have Lingo there, which is a nice event that
Yeah,
you can practice languages. Yeah. Um,
so you get to practice many languages there.
yeah, absolutely. But normally, like I love language exchange, and for all the languages that I speak, I'm going to have like one language exchange partner, and that's like this person is kind of responsible for my language skills on that language because I use that. I'm a terrible student, so when I sit down and do stuff, like I don't know, I think I'm not so good at that, but I'm good talking to people. So normally I do language exchange. That's how I maintain that. Of course, if I'm learning, if I'm a beginner, so no, I need to sit down and study, obviously. But for languages that I already speak, that's like I like it much more when I sit down and talk to people. Um,
Yeah. Me too. Yeah, speaking is a that's the reason I learned. So it's more active. It's just enjoyable.
Absolutely, yeah. I remember that. I'm studying Japanese now because I have a very good friend that she has Japanese as one as like second mother language, and one day she asked me like, why are you learning Japanese? And then I was like, because you speak Japanese. If your mother language were Thai, maybe I would be learning Thai at the moment, but you speak Japanese, so I'm learning Japanese. I was like, I don't know, I like this idea of like first people and second languages, like. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I think like that too.
Uh, yeah, we have some common points there. Right. Let's go to the second part of that, and then I start with a question here. How many languages do you think a person can really speak and maintain, like actively?
Actively. Well, if we're talking about a normal person, because some people are like savants, so that doesn't count. But if we're talking about normal person with a normal IQ, I mean, also it's very complicated because, for example, like if you're speaking Spanish, Portuguese, French, Catalan, Italian, that are not that different. Like, of course, they're different languages, but if you're comparing, like, I don't know, to Burmese or or Swahili, like, so if you're speaking 5 languages from the Romance family and then 5 languages that are different families, it's going to take more effort to maintain the different family languages, right? um, or Slavic languages, for example. So like, of course, it still takes time to get to a very high level, but I think if you're gonna say, okay, I want to maintain 5 languages from different language families, it's gonna take you more time. So it's hard to answer that question exactly because it depends on the language family, basically. Um, like for me, my Vietnamese is not as good as uh, my Spanish, obviously, but I've spent more time with Vietnamese than Spanish. So it's like that's kind of weird, right? My Spanish should my Vietnamese should be better, but no, it's not. My Spanish is a lot better. Um, so yeah, I I can't give you a definitive answer because of the language family. I don't know, but if you're saying, yeah, I don't know. What do you think? What's
That's a good question. Actually, I would like to clarify. Maybe people should understand that better. Like language skills, especially when you talk about multiple languages, they are variable. You know, it's like it's very difficult to maintain. It's like, okay, I have B2 in this. First of all, it's difficult to fit all the languages into the CFR. Like that's unrealistic in my point of view. And secondly, like it's very difficult to maintain that super clear. It's like, so I speak 30 languages, and then it's like this is C1, this is B2, this is B2 also. There's like because they interfere with each other, like you forget sometimes you forget entire languages. And then that's a crazy experience. Like yeah, I look at some languages in the past some interviews that I had, like, come on, I used it to speak that. Look, I cannot do that
yeah,
anymore. Like,
yeah, for sure. I mean, that happened with me for Luganda too. Like I made videos on Luganda, but now I'm like, I can't remember some basic words. So I think you have to give at least some time. Like if you get to a certain point, you would have to at least review maybe once a week, I would say, a little bit of that language to maintain it. But if we're yeah, so what we were saying, yeah, if you have like for example, if you're doing 20, if you're trying to maintain 15 languages, you would have to see some of those languages, like you have to see all 15 of them at least once a week. I mean like come in contact. So like for Luganda, like I don't see anyone from Uganda in my life. So I'm not gonna be able to maintain that really um at a level where I can communicate. So yeah,
yeah,
I would say between 10 to like yeah, 10 to 15, I would say. Like between that, like I don't think once if I say like I can maintain conversation at 13, but I would like I need some vocabulary. For example, in Indonesian, I have this. Here's my Indonesian book. Like I forgot a lot of words, even though it's not that difficult of a language. Like the grammar and the listening I can do. But yeah, I forget some words. But does that mean like I no longer speak it? I don't think so because I could just study like in 2 days and get all those words back, and then go back. So yeah, it's gonna be hard to give an exact number, but I would say between 10 and 15, depending on the language families and how much time you want to put into the maintenance.
yeah. Like I don't think we really have a number. It's like a magic number. That's like you can maintain 7 languages, 8 languages. But then
Yeah.
I don't know what I observe among language learners is like we tend to have a language core. It's like, okay, those languages I speak the best, and then the others are like they're variable. Sometimes you forget them entirely, sometimes you're in a better moment with them. Um,
Yeah.
if the languages that you're studying or speaking, they are somehow related to one of the languages of your language core, so it gets easier to, but it's going to be heavily influenced by the language of your
Yeah, yeah,
language
definitely.
core. Yeah. I don't know. That's what I
Yeah, I agree.
observe normally.
Yeah. So I think just like with anything in language related, like if you're trying to count or find an exact accurate answer, it doesn't exist. Like language is very subjective in general.
That's the point. Yeah. Language learning is a subjective thing. Even even the evaluation is difficult sometimes. Like that's why we need a full structure for an exam. Yeah. Like I normally tell that to my students. Like you cannot go there and talk to an examiner and the examiner says like, okay, by this conversation, B2, C1. So they need a lot of things. Like
For sure, for sure. Yeah. Language is very multifaceted. Yeah, it's it's crazy that it's so multifaceted, but then we expect to just have two ways to analyze. You do speak it or you don't speak it. But it's like that's insane. So it's like what qualifies as speaking or not speaking. So yeah, I have my own definition, personal definition, but some people maybe agree, disagree. It's fine. I don't really care. That's not they're not me and they don't need to use the language the way I'm using it. I don't they want to use it another way, that's fine. So
what is your definition,
language
by the way?
learning is for yourself. Excuse me?
What is your definition? So like I got curious.
Yeah. It's basically my goal is just to have a conversation with a native speaker where they can say anything they want, like about a normal topic, and I can understand. I won't understand every word, but I can definitely understand it and respond in a way that helps that engages them and helps the conversation flow like naturally. So just basically they don't have to change the way they speak for me to accommodate me. They can just speak naturally. And honestly, most native speakers, they don't speak higher than B2. So that's why I tell people like B2 listening is pretty much what you need. Like if you're not going to academia or going, I don't know, some political event, like most languages at a B2 level, maybe even lower, like day to day language use. So for me, that's it. It's more getting the rhythm, the cadence, the speed, being able to understand that, process it, and then respond in a way. Um, so yeah, you can't really respond in a way that's A2. You can't really have a B2 listening with an A2, I think, speaking. That would be. I don't really think that's feasible. It might be, but usually you would have to at least have a B1 speaking, and but your listening would have to be a B2 if you wanna. For me, if you want to have a conversation, and like I do Asimil, I guess I'm giving them free advertisement, but all these books they go up to B2. So that's basically how I know. I finished the book. I can understand all the things in the book. Listening, maybe I can't produce that, but at least I can understand the vocabulary, the grammar structure, and so I trust Asimil. They've gotten me very far. But yeah, I'm not sponsored, but if they do, that would be great.
You need to put a link here. That's like, oh, and by the way,
Yeah,
I have a special code here. You can click somewhere.
but I don't even I don't think they do that. They're too they're already famous. I would like that, yeah.
That would be nice. Yeah, the strange fact is like I totally agree with what you're saying. And normally when people ask me like, what do you consider like speaking a language? I would say it's like something like a B1 level. Because it's possible to hold an entire conversation, like meaningful conversation with a native speaker if you have like a B1 level or something close to a B1 level. So normally I tend to think for myself like if it's a language that I'm going to use professionally, so I need a C level. Um, Sometimes C1. Between honestly, like C1, C2, that doesn't make much difference in practical terms. But then, yeah, if I'm going to use that professionally, so I need a C level. But if I'm not, so it's like B1 is enough for me. And then if I reach a B2 level or whatever, so that's okay. You know, but that's not the point. It's like because I can already communicate. It's like have meaningful conversations with people. Yeah, I totally agree on that.
Yeah, for sure. We also get the more language you study, the better you get at expressing yourself in a limited, like with a limited vocabulary. So I
True.
think we practice that a lot too. So
Yeah, nice. Okay, we have one more topic here that's like, is it really worth it to learn small languages? Because there are a lot of languages that people say it's like, no, you shouldn't waste your time by learning that. What is your perspective on that?
um, first off, for me, it's very annoying when people say, "Oh, it's not useful." every language is useful because people use them. So there's no such thing as a non-useful language. Every day humans use language to communicate, so that's inherently it's useful. And for example, I don't know, Spanish, English, even Portuguese, millions of speakers. It's not like you're going to meet all those millions of people. So it doesn't matter how big it is. You can only speak to one person at a time. So it's like, that's also like, makes no sense, that argument. I do understand, like, the culturally speaking. Yeah, of course, like, if I want to study, Brazilian, then it's going to be many YouTube channels, or I can easily access, native level content, English, Spanish, of course. So that's the only advantage I see. But differing from that, like if I met someone who spoke like Thai in, I don't know, Europe, yeah, they would be so happy to meet a Thai speaker. They would be very surprised and like happy to talk to me because it is like a smaller language. Actually, it's not that small, but not many people learn it. So on the other side, even though you might not have as many people, when you do meet people, I think it's going to be easier to connect with them because they're going to be more, engaged and just be like, wow, this person took an interest in my culture, my language. So they're going to, yeah, be more, yeah, reciprocate that feeling and want to take an interest in you too. So, yeah, there's no such thing as a useful or big. Yeah, of course, some languages have more speakers, but doesn't matter. You just do what you enjoy, and what your goals are should determine, or yeah, should determine what languages you learn.
Yeah, couldn't
Or your
agree more. That's like that's very strange. It says like that's useless. Okay, for what? What is your perspective? Like,
yeah.
but I remember sometimes I got annoyed. I was like, I remember I was trying to practice Belarusian language, and
Mhm.
even some natives they tell me like, oh, you shouldn't. I was like, why not? I was like, no, because most of people don't use it. We learned that at school. That's like, come
Yeah.
on, you shouldn't say that to a foreigner interested in your culture, in your language. Um,
Yeah.
but then like some people will be very happy and talk to you and then like welcome you into their culture and that's just great to me. If you can talk to one person, for me, that's enough. That's useful because you are using that
Yeah.
for something. So anecdotically speaking, like you prove them wrong when you say it's like that's useless. No, I'm using it, so it's not useless.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. It's funny because people are thinking, like, I guess for economically speaking, they're like, oh, you can use it to make money, but I mean, like I don't use languages to make money. At least I just got monetized on YouTube, so but I haven't made really any money. But like I learn languages because I love languages and love talking to people. So it's not for any economic reason. Yeah. So
Yeah. And
it's
normally
not
tell
like you said.
people like when they mention money, I was like, yeah, I do make money with language learning, but if I go on this path, so I just need to keep learning English and Spanish, and that's the most profitable languages for me for my school. So if I think only about that, only about money, so that's okay. Let's delete all the other languages and I'll be an English expert only. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's enough for me to make money. So that's crazy that people think like no, because you should use that to make money. It's like that's you can have you can have hobbies, you can have passions. It's like it doesn't need to necessarily comes down to money. Um,
Yeah.
and that's crazy to
But
me.
yeah, people don't really have hobbies. Not many people do. They just consumed by, like, yeah, how it's profitable for them or for you even.
Yeah. And what was the most underestimated language that you have learned? So it's like people used to tell you a lot. It's like, yo, you shouldn't learn that. That's not. It happened to you sometimes?
Uh, I don't think. Yeah, I mean, no, I don't think. I mean, I was learning. I think I was learning Khmer when I was only in Cambodia for like 2 weeks, and my Khmer is not really good at all. But of course, I tried to speak to them, and yeah, they were like, "Oh, why? Yeah, why you were learning?" Like, I think we talked about that before. Like, why are you learning it? And then I was like, why not?
Why not?
You told, we had that conversation. So that's funny. We had the same idea. for me, it's like, why not learn it? If I'm here and like I'm in your country, like why am I gonna speak English? Like that's not, the language that you all speak with each other. So I want to be more included. So yeah, that was a lot. They asked me why not, and then maybe, yeah, I think that's the most. But most people are supportive, and yeah, of course you have some doubters or haters maybe, but for me, yeah, I think people mostly supportive, and they're like, oh, that's cool. You speak those languages.
Nice.
What about you?
So
You said the Belarusian.
yeah, Belarusian for sure. Belarusian for sure because that's interesting. That was like even native speakers they or like not exactly native speakers because a lot of them they don't really use the language. They use more Russian. But then like Belarusian people discouraging me to learn that was crazy to me. It's like come on, I'm genuinely interested in your culture. Why are you telling me like no, don't do it? No, come on, you don't need it. Um, and also.
Maybe. Oh, sorry.
No,
Go ahead.
also some Macedonians, not all of them. Most of them, they're very happy when you learn Macedonian. But I've met some Macedonians in Rio because we have a Macedonian diaspora, so we have a significant amount of Macedonian speakers here. And some of them was like, "Oh, okay, that's cool, but why? That's not really useful language." And I was like, "Come on, that's your language. Be proud of it. Let help me."
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe. Yeah, I don't know about Macedonian, but I was thinking maybe in Belarus they think you should learn Russian more because yeah, I mean that's in some countries, for example, in Philippines, like one of my friends was speaking like a minority language, but then they were encouraged to speak more English. So I think part of that is the language ideology, right? In Belarus, it's Belarusian and Russian, so like Russian would seem as like the superior language. Um, so that's unfortunate because yeah, every language is equally important, but because of this dichotomy that you have in some places, I guess because of colonization or just regional influence, you have that idea that one language maybe is inferior.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's an entire political problem. But yeah, that was a nice
Yeah,
experience. I kept learning, as I mentioned, like if you have one person to talk to, for me, that's enough. Like
yeah,
I don't need to talk to billions of people to to think like, okay,
yeah.
this language is what I'm going to really learn that.
Exactly. One interaction can bring enough, yeah, satisfaction or knowledge. Something you can learn. You can learn something from one person.
Why not? Right. Let's go to the last part of this interview. I could be speaking forever, but I think a 5 days interview wouldn't be good. So, Uh, let's see which languages we have in common, so we can switch back and forth using some languages there. I'm so sorry I don't speak Luganda. I don't speak Khmer.
That's okay. My Luganda is downhill. Oh, it's kind of dark. Is it okay now? It got
No,
dark outside. It's okay.
that's okay. That's okay. I can still see you there.
You
Right.
you want me to turn on? Or no, you want to just start?
Okay, let's see what we have in common there. I think we have Italian in common. You speak Italian, right?
Yeah.
Ah, certo. Allora, un po' l'italiano, ma volevo sapere, parlare in italiano è più difficile o la stessa cosa per te che parlare, per esempio, non lo so, in spagnolo?
Ah, penso che adesso non ho parlo così tanto, non ho molte occasioni di parlare in italiano, ma ah, certo che parlo meglio spagnolo o francese che italiano, ma se lo ascolto, ogni tanto ascolto come le podcast in italiano o guardo qualcosa su YouTube. Sì, non ho difficoltà con questo, ma di parlare sì a volte. No, dimentico forse delle parole, ma non lo miscolo con il spagnolo, credo, che non, perché ho potuto viaggiare un po' in Italia e ho parlato abbastanza prima, ma come 7 anni fa. E per te è un po' difficile come si dice, di mettere a parte le due lingue,
Ah,
perché
vabbè,
ovviamente
per me è molto difficile, molto difficile, ah, molto difficile. Io sono, credo che io sono una capra per parlare in italiano senza l'influenza del spagnolo. Mi piace tantissimo mettere le parole in spagnolo quando volevo parlare in italiano. Um, per me non è la stessa cosa, credo che l'italiano è più difficile, per me, perché io parlo in spagnolo, ogni giorno. Italiano no, mi piace guardare il video su YouTube, leggere tante cose. Credo che mi piace tantissimo la lingua, però quando parlo io sono no, mescolare italiano e spagnolo è mia specialità.
Ma non fai un scambio linguistico?
Uh,
Non hai qualcuno per fare
no,
un scambio?
allora con italiano no, perché allora
Ah,
ho bisogno di studiare il giapponese ogni giorno e è molto importante per me. Allora,
giapponese. Ok, ho capito.
eh, ok.
Ma lo capisci, no? Senza
Ah,
problemi.
certo, certo. Posso capire perché anche io posso parlare spagnolo, portoghese, francese, valenciano. Per me capire è più facile, ma parlare, no, parlare, posso parlare, ma ho bisogno di praticare. Sì, si posso praticare, non lo so, dopo. Dopo 3 giorni, se volevo praticare l'italiano, certo, posso parlare, ma allora, per esempio, ho bisogno di pensare, no, questo in italiano, questo in spagnolo, questo in italiano, questo in spagnolo, aspetta, aspetta. Sì, certo, credo che posso parlare.
Va bene.
Right. And then we get back to common ground, that's like English before we switch into languages, because you need to figure out what we have in common. Um, because simply switch, you can switch to Khmer, and then I would be lost.
Are
Um,
you German or French?
okay, German and French. Let's see. What do you go for? Ah, German. Yeah.
Deutsch?
Vielleicht ein
Ja,
bisschen.
ich lese gerne Deutsch. Alle meine Bücher, diese Assimil-Bücher, sind in Deutsch, aber ich spreche das nicht so oft. Nicht so oft.
Ja, ich bin sehr neugierig und das war sehr gut für mich. Warum lernst du Polnisch, aber auf Deutsch?
Ich lerne immer auf Deutsch. Alle meine Bücher sind auf Deutsch. Ah, aber ich habe nur ein Russisch, dass ich lerne Russisch auf Niederländisch. Das ist die größte Herausforderung, dass ich, wie sagt man das?
Genau, ja, das ist eine Herausforderung, aber
Das habe ich. Weißt du, wie sagt man das? To face a challenge?
ja, weiß nicht. Normalerweise ich benutze nur eine Herausforderung gesagt. Das ist eine Herausforderung für mich. Also, aber die Verben, weiß ich nicht. Ich habe nicht gedacht.
Getroffen, oder? Man kann sagen, getroffen, dass ich getroffen habe.
Ja,
Aber ja, ich benutze immer Deutsch. Das macht Spaß und es ist nicht so kompliziert eigentlich. Ich kann ja Deutsch gut lesen. Ich verstehe. Ich verstehe ja, vielleicht alles. Aber beim Sprechen, ja, musste ich ja, meine Fähigkeit auffrischen, bevor ich ausspreche. Ja,
ja,
ich spreche das nicht. Ich habe jetzt, jetzt in Thailand, ja, ich gibt Deutsche da, aber ja, nicht so oft vielleicht. einmal pro Monat spreche ich das. Mit ich benutze mehr Deutsch ich benutze Deutsch mehr mit Polyglots als mit Deutsche. Ja.
Ja, Deutsch ist sehr bekannte Sprache, das ist sehr populär. Ähm, und ja, das ist dasselbe für mich, das ist dasselbe. Normalerweise, ja, ich hab Assimil, aber das ist auf Englisch. Aber ich weiß nicht, für mich das ist sehr natürlich auf Englisch lernen. Ja. Und
Ja.
das ist nicht Polnisch und ja, nur. Belarusisch nein, das war auf Russisch, weil es gibt kein Material auf Englisch und Belarusisch, aber das war auf Russisch, aber normalerweise, das ist sehr interessant für mich, das Englisch zu benutzen, weil, weiß nicht, ich spreche Englisch jeden Tag und das war sehr interessant für mich, für meinen Job, für Business und so weiter und ja, Englisch ist das ist nicht meine Muttersprache, aber das ist sehr, sehr wichtig für mich. Normalerweise ich benutze Englisch und nicht Deutsch, aber Polnisch auf Deutsch, genau, das ist eine Herausforderung.
Na, nicht so. Ist nicht so kompliziert. Also es geht, ich kann lesen, ja. B2, das ist immer bis B2.
Mhm.
Und eigentlich die Grammatik, verstehe ich die Grammatik. Ich habe eine slawische Sprache gelernt. Ich habe Kroatisch gelernt
Warte,
und die Grammatik kann ich, ja, verstehe ich das. Aber nur diese Wörter, manchmal, ja, ich muss nur neue Wörter lernen. Und ja, es ist nicht, kennst du diese Methode, die Assimil-Methode?
ja,
Hast du das schon
genau.
benutzt?
Ich habe es mir benutzt für Russisch, ja, 2000, mein Gott, 2015 vielleicht, ja. Russisch und Deutsch auch. Und
Mhm.
ich habe jetzt Assimil für Japanisch, aber das war nicht sehr interessant für mich, weiß ich nicht. Vielleicht ist es nicht sehr
Ah,
effektiv.
das habe ich auch benutzt. Ich habe so Japanisch gelernt. Ich habe mit diesem Buch.
Ja?
Das macht nicht, das macht keinen Spaß. Oder ist es nicht so? Es gibt eigentlich auf Japanisch ist es ein bisschen komplizierter, weil es nicht so viel ist, nicht so viel, wie sagt man das, diese Anmerkungen, the Notes. Es gibt nicht so viele Anmerkungen. Und Japanisch, oder man kann sagen Erklärungen. Es gibt nicht so viele Erklärungen in Japanisch. Ja, die Assimil Japanisch. Und weißt du, das ist Japanisch und Englisch oder Portugiesisch sind so, das ist das ist ganz anders. Deswegen braucht man vielleicht mehr Erklärungen oder was, Anmerkungen. Aber ja, beim Japanisch ist das kann ein bisschen, bei mir, das war nicht so schwer, weil ich Kanji kenne. Aber für jemanden, die Kanji nicht kenne, kann das ja.
Ich finde, das ist sehr toll für europäische Sprache. Ja.
Ja,
Italienisch, Französisch und so weiter. Französisch, ja, genau. Aber, weiß nicht, für Japanisch, Chinesisch, ich weiß nicht auch, vielleicht das ist kompliziert mit Assimil, Chinesisch lernen. Aber ja, ich mag Assimil, das ist fantastisch. Well, what else we have there? Oh, you said French. Huh? So we have French in common. We have the most popular languages in common, I guess. That's like,
ja.
yeah.
You went to the Slavish, c'est parce que tu as appris les langues slaviques, c'est ça?
Ah ouais, c'est vrai. J'aime beaucoup d'étudier les langues slaviques. Comme, je crois que le polonais, c'est ma langue préférée, c'est ma langue préférée, mais aussi j'aime beaucoup le russe, l'ukrainien, etc. Mais il y a un problème que moi je dis que c'est très difficile de... Donc, je crois que c'est la même chose avec l'italien. Je peux comprendre beaucoup de choses de langue Probablement, si tu parles... quelle langue tu m'as dit que tu parles? La langue slavique, je ne me souviens pas.
Croate.
Le croate. Probablement, je crois que je peux comprendre, mais je ne peux pas le parler. Donc, euh, c'est un petit peu
Je
compliqué.
parle pas trop bien. Je vais pas dire que je le parle, mais je l'ai parlé. Mais maintenant, il faut que, oui, j'exerce un peu la langue pour que je puisse le parler. Mais je l'ai étudié, je dirais.
Donc, mais c'est un défi pour moi parce que j'aime beaucoup, par exemple, le russe. Seule langue que mon but, c'est le niveau C1, C2. Et je crois que c'est très difficile d'obtenir ce niveau si je fais le mélange. Si je, si je parle le russe, et donc, quelle surprise, un petit peu de mots en macédoine. C'est un problème pour moi. Donc, j'ai besoin de choisir. Et pour moi, maintenant, j'étudie le russe, bien sûr, l'ukrainien, le polonais et macédoine. Et ça suffit. Je crois que ça suffit. J'aime beaucoup les langues slaviques, mais ça suffit maintenant parce que j'ai vu arrêter de faire le mélange avec les langues.
Et moi, je sais pas trop parce que j'ai juste. En fait, j'ai commencé là avec le russe, mais je l'ai laissé euh, parce que j'avais pas de temps. Mais je vais continuer peut-être l'année prochaine. Mais oui, parce que les langues, comment on dit, slave ou slavic? Let me check. Slavique ou slave? Je vais
Slavique?
chercher.
Je crois que c'est la langue slavique.
Ah, slavique, non, c'est slave. Hein? Slavique? Slave.
Slave?
Oui, j'ai pensé que slavique et
Ouais.
slave. Ok, yeah, pas de problème. Sorry. Ah, slavique. Ok,
Maintenant, j'ai vu des slaviates. Slaviates.
parce que les langues slaves, parce que je pensais que c'est slave ou slavique. Mais oui, parce il y en a beaucoup, n'est-ce pas? Il y a comme 12 langues slaves. Euh, et oui, comme par exemple la Macédonie, c'est à peu près à le bulgare, non?
C'est vrai, c'est vrai. Je crois que c'est très similaire, mais je ne sais pas, parce que je n'ai jamais étudié les bulgares.
Ah, ok. Mais j'ai entendu parler, mais je ne suis pas sûr non plus. Mais si dans ce cas-là, oui, ça serait un peu difficile, c'est en difficile de les différencier. Si tu n'as pas vraiment, si tu ne te concentres pas sur une langue, parmi toutes les langues slaves, ça va être difficile de les différencier. Parce que même, par exemple, quand je parle pas portugais, mais sûr que si j'essaie de le parler, euh, oui, je vais sortir. Bon,
Problème.
et partant que, je sais pas, qu'il était coupé, la connexion.
Je sais
Mais
pas. Je crois qu'il y a un problème
je
avec la connexion, mais pas de problème.
sais pas, j'ai parlé de différencier les langues. Quand je parle le portugais, par exemple, j'essaie de le parler. Je sors beaucoup de mots d'espagnol. Et j'imagine que ça peut être difficile avec les langues slaves. Et pour toi, si
Ah ouais.
tu en es étudié trop.
Donc, okay, back to the common ground. I think we have one more language in common. Think by the popular languages that exist in the world, probably have Spanish in common, yeah?
Yes. Ah,
Vale.
no, sí.
Entonces
Vale.
creo que podemos pasar al español, ¿no?
Y en español esto te pasa o no? Que vas a mezclar un poco con tu idioma. Porque, no sé, pues el idioma materno tuyo es el portugués. ¿Y te pasa así cuando los mezclas o no?
Sí, verdad. No, la verdad, palabras creo que no. Lo que pasa es que utilizo algunas estructuras que son en portugués. Y ahí, claro, tengo que pensar demasiado. Cuando voy a hablar con la gente, ahí no, voy a hablar normal y si utilizo algo que suene como, esa estructura está en portugués, no sé qué. pasa nada. Pero si estoy, por ejemplo, enseñando a un estudiante, tengo que pensar demasiado y digo, no, espera, espera, esto no. Esta estructura es de, no sé. Pero lo que es diferente, ahora, ahora un acento en italiano, lo que es diferente para mí es que yo empecé a estudiar español cuando era niño. Entonces,
Ah,
lo tengo más fuerte en mi cabeza que, por ejemplo, las otras lenguas. Que en español no fue, ni siquiera, no he elegido aprender español. Esto fue como un proyecto de mi mamá, que me habló como, no, tú vas a aprender español. Y le habló como, no, pero no me gusta, pasa nada, pero sin problemas vas a aprenderlo. Entonces, sí que es diferente. La experiencia que tengo con español es muy, muy diversa, muy diferente de las experiencias que tengo con italiano, con francés.
desde niñez, pues sí. Claro, creo que esto es lo más importante, tener como contacto con el idioma cuando tú tienes como este, por a largo plazo, has mantenido este contacto con el idioma, va a ser, sí, como has dicho tú, te va a quedar, va a ser más difícil como perderlo, así que no tienes ahora como yo, no practico tanto el español y no lo hablo, no tanto, pues lo hablé ayer con, con algunos mexicanos, pero la verdad es que no lo uso tanto. Pero no pasa nada porque ya como mi carrera estudié español en la universidad, ah, y hice un intercambio, un semestre en España, estaba en Puerto Rico y sí, he tenido mucho contacto, he viajado bastante en países hispanohablantes y por eso digo que no tengo que mantener como el español, ni el español ni el francés para hablarlos bien. Pues, y para ti como es la misma cosa que has hablado tanto el español y inglés también, que no,
Vale, pero inglés es tu lengua madre, ¿sí?
sí, sí, sí.
Y eso
Pues
es bueno,
mi-
que hablas tantas lenguas de tantas maneras que yo he pensado como, pero espera, ¿cuál es su lengua madre? Me olvidé. Sí, es inglés, inglés es su lengua madre.
sí, sí.
Ah, vale, esto. Ahora me acuerdo. No, porque yo he mirado tu vídeo de donde hablaba un montón de lenguas, y creo que inglés está como al final, no sé. Y después solo el final, como, ah, vale. Porque, no sé, en algún momento he pensado como, tal vez el persa, el farsi, no sé. Am, Porque tú tienes también esta lengua en tu familia, ¿no? Persa, farsi.
Sí, sí, persa. Es que mis papás son de Irán, pero se mudaron a los Estados Unidos como hace 40 años. Así que yo nací en los Estados Unidos y pues sí, en la casa, como muchos niños estadounidenses, hablan inglés en la casa, pero sus papás hablan como su idioma y después les contestan a los papás en inglés. Y esto es lo que me pasó a mí hasta como 15, hasta el colegio. Y después como decidí, ok, me voy a poner las pilas a aprender como su idioma, pero también mi idioma. Y, tengo ahí, es que es Persish. Sí, tengo el libro, pero todavía no lo he usado. Am, pero sí, lo hablo, pero no lo hablo tan bien. Como, claro, inglés es mi mejor idioma, mi primer idioma, pero sí, el idioma que uso con mis papás es persa, sí.
Me
Pero
parece.
sí, es como no muy avanzado.
Vale. Well, let's get back to the common ground there. And then I think that's all we have in common, unfortunately, for the moment. Maybe if we record that again in 1 year, or probably we have more languages in common.
To learn some Japanese and Chinese.
Yeah, because like I don't have any intention to stop studying, and I think you keep studying as well, adding more languages. So today, the language that I have in common are those languages that we use it, but probably in the future we're gonna have more.
For sure, for sure.
So it was a pleasure. You're a great guy, a great polyglot, a great inspiration to the community. That's Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for inviting me. You too. Yeah, good to see you making these videos, helping everyone out, especially in Brazil. I know usually people don't learn so many languages, so it's good to have real Brazilian language learners to spread like language learning. You and my friend Lucas Pilietti, and of course other Gabriel. I think that guy Gabriel, the Brazilian
Gabriel,
guy.
the
So yeah,
polyglot. Yeah, that's my friend.
it's good to have some good representatives of Brazil
Yeah.
too.
We also have Fabrizio Carraro. That's a great
Oh,
polyglot.
Fabrizio, yeah, of course. Ah, sorry, Fabrizio. I've met Fabrizio at the language exchange. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Language gathering. Yeah, yeah.
Great. Well,
Yeah.
that was a pleasure, and hopefully see you next time.
Yeah, thanks for having me. See you soon.